neon 21.1797 grams. So this is where we need to use the Dalton's law of partial pressure to figure out the partial pressure for each of the components there. We can also use the ideal gas law equation to calculate the volume. So in this case, really, P total equals to N total, P total times V. So volume is what we're trying to figure out. The first question, volume equals to N total times RT over V total. So we have one N known, everything else is given directly or indirectly. Temperature is given. What's the temperature? 273.15. So when you see that term STP, you need to know what that STP stands for. Temperature is given, 273.1. What's the pressure? 1 atm. I guarantee you I'll ask you this question on the second exam. What's the condition of STP? You have to be able to specify what's the temperature, what's the pressure there. There goes your 4 points out of 100. You better pay attention to that. Okay. We will ask you questions. In the homework assignment there, sometimes you just see the term STP without actually giving you the numbers. You need to know what those numbers are. What are those numbers in your STP? So in this case, we ask you to figure out the volume there. We need to know the total number of moles. And the pressure is given, temperature is given, R is a given constant there. So all we need to do here is that we need to convert 4.32 gram of helium into moles, 16.4 gram of neon into moles. Atomic mass is given, dimensional analysis. You convert them into moles there. And here you have 1.079 mole of helium, 0.8127 mole of neon. Using these two numbers as our conversion factor. So if you add these two numbers together, you get N total. P total, that's 1 atm. Temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. So the volume equals to 0. Right? Now, you can't use 0 here, 273.15. Okay, so the total volume would be somewhere around 42.40. Now, you can double check the calculation. 1.07 plus 0.81, that's close to like 2 moles. Under STP, 1 mole of each gas will occupy, 1 mole of any gas will occupy 22.4 liter. So if you have roughly about 1.8 mole, it should be somewhere around 1.8 times 22.4, 42.4. Okay, so you can also double check your calculation. You end up with somewhere, that's the ballpark number you're supposed to be at. So 42.4 liter, that's the total volume. Now that you have the total volume, we ask you to calculate the partial pressure. Now the partial pressure for helium equals to the mole fraction of helium times the total pressure, 1 atm. And then partial pressure for the neon equals to the mole fraction of neon times 1 atm. 1 atm being the total pressure there. How do we figure out the mole fraction? Well, if you know the individual number of moles here, mole fraction for helium would be 1.079 divided by the sum of these two numbers. Mole fraction of neon would be 0.8127 divided by the sum of these two numbers. And if you plug in the number and do the calculation, this is the partial pressure for helium and neon. You add them together, 0.57, 0.43, add up to 1 atm. Do this calculation of the class. You need to know how to do calculations in this matter. Okay, so that's something that we want you to be able to do. And it's about 9 o'clock, 9:08, and 9:08, and 9:10. We'll take a 5 minutes break, a 5-10 minutes break there. We'll come back and we'll continue. Okay, I'll keep you here at least to 10:15 today. That's the regularly scheduled time. And if I can't finish chapter 5 by 10:15, I'll keep you here till 12:30. Take a break. Now
we've been going through a lot of calculations today, and again, it is very, very important that you take the time and do the practice, and that's the primary reason why I pushed back the exam number 2. Because if I finish chapter 5 today with all these different types of calculations and leaving you with less than 24 hours to study for the exam, I think that's a little bit harsh. So I'll give you a little bit more time. And in your folder, you have your homework and quizzes, if you haven't picked them up yet, and you have your Scantron for the first exam. You can take them. Everything is yours to keep. I just need the folder back. Okay? And if you want to take a look at your exam, then take your Scantron with you when you come to my office, and we can sit down. We can pull out your exam, and we'll go over with the whatever questions you may have about the exam.